guys, and welcome to another MegL Monday on a Thursday, because I forgot it was Monday on Monday. So, to make up for that, I'm going to upload this today, and then I have another fun video for you tomorrow, and then I'll start over on Monday with my regular schedule. It is so incredibly windy again here today in Podunk, Ohio. I'm watching a dust tornado go across the field behind my house. So if you hear a bunch of ruckus, if you hear a loud clanking noise, that's because it's just hella windy. Today we're going to talk about the Yellow Wallpaper, which was one of my favorite short stories I read during high school. This copy is a Bedford Cultural Edition, so it's got a bunch of footnotes. In all reality, the story's only 20 pages long, so the rest of all of this is cultural notes. A brief synopsis of the book is that an 18th century woman comes down with what they called a hysteria, and her physician husband took her on a vacation to a manor in England to help her feel better, to help her get fresh air. And then through the course of the story, this woman's hysteria gradually gets worse, and she kind of goes off the deep end mental health-wise, which I will get to that in a moment. Like I said, this is a short story. I mean, I finished it in 20 minutes a little bit ago before I filmed this, just to refresh myself as to what it was about. This is one of the few books I read during high school that I actually enjoyed, probably because it was a short story and it wasn't like a full novel. We read this almost immediately after we read The Scarlet Letter, which I didn't actually read. I read the Cliff Notes. Sorry, Mrs. Hardgrove, I tried. I really enjoyed this story, probably because it is shorter. It is a short story. It's only 20 pages. And it's written in a journal style, so it's a very quick read. It's broken into nice chunks. The whole story takes place over the course of one summer in this woman's life. This book does cover really well how far we've come with dealing with mental health issues. Back in those days, they medicated, but it wasn't actually medicine. They would prescribe them to get more fresh air, more exercise. They would give them like tonic water and castor oil and all of that to help them. Basically, any mental illness that a woman came down with was considered hysteria, and they would do something to attempt to help her come down from this hysteria. They didn't understand the frustrations that some women go through in life. I have a theory that at the beginning of the story, she's actually suffering from postpartum depression, because they do mention that she does have a baby. And then as she's locked in this room with this yellow wallpaper, it gradually just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. As this woman describes the room going through the entire story, it focuses on certain aspects of the room that, reading it now as an adult, I've kind of figured out in my own head that this room was specifically for women and people that are having a mental breakdown. It discusses that the bed is nailed to the floor. It discusses that the wallpaper is peeled off of the wall from about arm's length from the head of the bed. And then it talks about how there's bars on the window, there's rings stuck to the wall, and she classifies this all as safety precautions for children because she's told that this room is a nursery. She gradually describes this wallpaper as having multiple layers, and she finds patterns within the patterns. I won't ruin the end of the story for you, but she discovers there's something in the wallpaper. I have two least favorite things from this story. One, that I was forced to read it in high school because I feel like I didn't grasp it as well in high school as I did when I read it 20 minutes ago. My second least favorite thing is just the language it's written in. It's written in an older style of English, which is harder for me to read. I have a very tough time reading Shakespeare. This is not written like Shakespeare. Don't let that turn you off. It just uses a lot of phrases that I didn't know what they meant. But luckily, the copy of the book that I got has footnotes in it that notate, okay, this phrase means this. My favorite thing about the story is the amount of story that they shove in less than 20 pages. Those 20 pages contain so much content that it's like you're reading a longer story. I genuinely thought it was much longer than it ended up being because it's only 20 pages. And there's so much stuff in those 20 pages that it feels like it's gonna be a longer story than it is. And I wouldn't recommend a beverage for this because by the time you get the beverage, you could have just read the story. That was my brief review of The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. And next time, I've been thinking about doing a video similar to this for a while. I saw a chart right when Pokemon Go first came out of somebody renaming Pokemon or trying to remember what they were named from when they were a kid, and I just found that so funny. For example, Gloom, they renamed Ebola, and I laughed hysterically about it for probably 3 days. So currently, as we all know, Gen 2 in Pokemon Go dropped recently. So I want to go through and rename some of the Gen 2 Pokemon. I already have quite a few of them renamed in my game on my phone. So I would like to share some of my names for them with you. So I will see you tomorrow with Generation 2 renamed Pokemon. But until then, we will see you later. Bye!